Welcome to this webcast Friday night. And if you're thinking that we should be in a stadium right now, it's actually quite different this year for the high school All-American marching band. And the gentleman that you see next to me is Colonel Timothy J. Holton, who is the leader and commander of the United States Army Band. And welcome here to the webcast.
Thanks, Sam. Good to be here.
I'm your host, Sam Palafian, by the way. And we're just having the best time sitting here talking about what it's like to be a high school All-American. And we're going to see some video clips today. The first one goes all the way back to Monday. And I'm needing to ask you what it's like to have this experience for these people who are selected from all over the United States. Good musicians.
It's an amazing group, and I think you'll hear in a minute from Lieutenant Scott Kelly about the perspective of what it's like to walk into this situation as a new All-American and walk through that week. But my perspective is I'm here with soldiers of the U.S. Army Field Band who have served as mentors and coaches for a number of years in this initiative. And, there were over 2,000 applications from schools all across the country, band directors supporting them, and you sift that down to 125 selections. You know that you're dealing with the best of the best.
Right.
And I had some chances to talk with some of the students this week, and I said, what was one thing that really surprised you the most? And uniformly, they all said, I'm so amazed at how everybody is pulling in the same direction. Everybody's really talented. Everybody's really interested in doing the right thing, because my band at home, boy, there are a lot of folks who don't want to be there, and they all laughed about that because they all had the similar situations.
Got it.
So these are all superstars, and they're moving at the speed of light. They come walking in the door with music memorized.
Right.
They have an idea of the drill because they get a drill pad with the marks, so they get an understanding. So the process of building the show over 24 hours, the complexity of both the music and the drill design is phenomenal, and they knock it out of the park.
And this year, for the first time, we can watch that incrementally build because we have film segments from,
that's great.
from every single day. That idea of loving this so much, and you finally walk into a place where everyone loves it as much as you do, cares about it as much as you do, prepares for it as much as you do, is a stunning thing to walk into a group and it finally happens. You start this dream when you're a young music student. What if everybody pulled the rope in the same direction? What an incredible fantasy that is when you're super young. And the day that it happens, I think we all remember. For me, it was winning a contest at the National Music Camp, which was at Interlochen, Michigan. I remember walking in there and thinking that everyone cares as much or more than I do about music. And I finally found where I belonged then. And I see it in the faces of the members of the band here.
That's exactly how they feel. As pleased as they are to find that kind of interest and talent all pulling in the same direction, I'm also surprised by the amount of humility. I can't understand how I could be selected for this. I come from a little school program, and we don't march like this, or I've really conducted a small band, as a drum major. I go, why me? And then when you really look at the credentials, not only the music, but you look at the individual in their academic achievement, you look at their community service, you even look at their demonstrated leadership skills. You get the whole package. And as we look at these talented, motivated team players who come with great skills to Bowl Week, those are the same values that the Army really looks for and attributes in their folks. So it's really a nice marriage for us to come in as subject matter experts and work with them technically, and then turn around and say, what are you going to do next year? What are your plans to achieve your goals? And hopefully help them build confidence in themselves and their skills, not be afraid to ask questions and discover what's out there. Go all in when you try something. If it doesn't work out, you can always take another direction.
Right. It's just so it's so easy to see why the Army would get involved with a marching band full of super talented musicians. It's the leadership part of it. It's the potential of those people. It's just incredible. And there's something about people that can do music well and keep all those classes going, and in some cases athletics at the same time, clubs, Latin, French, doesn't matter what it is, but juggle all the balls in high school. There's something about 11th graders especially that just, and it's astonishing to me what they can get done.
They want to do it all.
And so, you know, thank you from the musical community for sponsoring and helping to keep these people motivated. There's something about being recognized at a young age that's life-changing. I think we can all figure that. But when it's coming from an institution like the United States Army, that's just, it's almost, you almost have a charge that you have to succeed when you're recognized for this
Well,
honor.
I think you could assume that. I think from these kids' perspective, they're just in awe of the opportunity. And, you know, you mentioned the Army and its facilitation. Yes, the Army is the lead sponsor. It's the Army All-American Bowl, the All-American Marching Band. But it's really a huge team effort. You know, we have great support from the National Association for Music Education. We have great support from Jupiter, Mapex, Majestic Instruments. We've got great support from Des Moines for the uniforms. DCI as a partner. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And, you know, it's really a labor of love that facilitates this opportunity for the students, that helps set them apart and gives them just a little bit more of an edge. But for us, my perspective in the Army, I mean, our job is to reach out and connect the Army with the American people.
Got it.
This is not a recruiting initiative for me. Even though there are 23 in our previous 7 marching bands that have chosen to align themselves in some way with the Army, Army Reserves,
That's
National
amazing.
Guard,
Yeah.
Active Army, ROTC cadets.
Wow.
That's not the primary focus. It's putting a face on the soldiers that are out there at the front line of freedom, fighting every day for what we do, the way of life in the United States. But, you know, if we have the opportunity to positively affect, to be a face of that Army and show how that excellence that the musicians bring to the table
Right.
is no different from the excellence found across America's Army.
Wow.
That's our intent. You know, just as good as we play music, that truck driver, that cook, that infantryman, that artilleryman are as good at their job.
That's awesome.
That's our charge, and we get to see that in spades this week. And the kids get to see that, you know, the people in those uniforms are real, and they've got talent,
Right.
and they're part of a great team. And
A lot of connections made here.
some
I've
say,
seen that.
hey, you know, I kind of like to do something like that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a neat
awesome.
thing.
So on Monday, we're going to see we're going to start with a clip from the very first day, and people have come from all over the United States, and they're physically seeing each other for the first time. That's correct,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And they've lived in a bit of a virtual world. They were
Mhm.
selected, and they know about each other. What's Monday like?
Well, they come in having been part of a Facebook program.
Got it.
So they know of each other and they've communicated with each other, but they come in for, you know, some opening instructional remarks and a dinner, a welcome dinner. And the volunteers of the U.S. Army Field Band then play about an hour's worth of music. And it's an instant full stage front with all the kids dancing and moving together, and it's an instant cohesion of that group.
Oh, what a
It
great
helps-
mixer.
It helps to
awesome.
bond them, and
Yeah.
they're off and running for the week. And, you know, jumping into getting instruments, and they've already had their uniforms fitted, and jumping into, this is how we march at the U.S. All-American Marching Band.
Right,
US
because
Army
there's so
Band.
many styles.
There are.
This is exciting. Let's get Dave Knox from banddirector.com over there to roll tape.